They say the key to surviving parenthood is to have a good sense of humor. Well, that certainly is the key to surviving being a grandparent, I've discovered. Our next guest wrote a book about the science of parenthood, and it's full of lots of hilarious observations. Welcome to Noreen Dworkin McDaniel. Oh, you've got to tell us about this book. What inspired it, Noreen?
Well, my son Fletcher, he's 10 now, and he was the inspiration for the book. So, you know, kids are going to do absolutely infuriating things. So he came home from school one day talking about Newton's laws of force and motion. You know, an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted on by an external force. Yeah. So that immediately made me think of him with his video games, because that child will sit there and play video games until I unplug the games console or take away the iPad or his phone. Yeah. And so I immediately jumped up from the table. He was explaining his day at school, so I jumped up from the table and I wrote down, a child at rest will remain at rest until you need your iPad back.
Very good start.
Did he laugh?
He did laugh, and we call that Newton's first law of parenting, and that actually became our very first cartoon on our blog, Science of Parenthood, and then we started to use science and math as a filter to channell the parenting experience.
Now, you talk about science a lot. Are you a scientist?
Actually, no. My partner.
Almost mothers are. You have to be to survive.
Well, science makes such a great metaphor for parenting, because scientists are always stumbling around, they're searching for answers, they're not really sure they're on the right track, and they're probably not going to be appreciated until they're old, gray, and possibly dead.
I have certainly found that out.
I see the connection with the scientist and the parent. I get it.
Yeah, we're all bumbling around trying to figure out, you know, what are we doing? Are we doing it right? We're constantly second-guessing ourselves as parents. Parents in this country really, really put themselves under amazing pressure. So our job at Science of Parenthood is to take those situations that make you want to scream and sob and curl up in the fetal position and get parents to take a step back and laugh at it. It's a survival tool.
Oh, that's wonderful. We all need one of those at times.
Yes.
Now, you talk about the happiness gap.
Yes, a study came out in the American Journal of Sociology. It came out in September, and that study found that American parents are about 12% less happy than non-parents, and that was the largest difference between Americans and other industrialized nations. They surveyed parents and non-parents in 22 countries, and Americans had the largest gap between happiness between parents and non-parents.
Oh, that's sad.
And
why do you think that is?
That's largely, I think, because
kids drive you crazy.
Well, I know that.
But you know what? I think the real reason is it's really hard to raise a child, but to be a grandparent, you're friends with your adult children, they make you laugh, they're your great friends, and you can really enjoy grandchildren because you don't have to mold them.
It's the pressure of thinking that I have to make sure everything goes well for this kid.
Every bite they eat is healthy. Everything they do is the right thing.
Well, and there aren't a whole lot of policies in this country to aid parents, and so there is a lot of anxiety. You know, are they going to get into a good school? Are they eating the right food? Are they, you know, taking the right courses to get into good, you know, high schools and colleges? There's just so much anxiety.
And are they swearing? That's another thing that we have to worry about.
How in the world would you control that?
Well, what I did with my son, because I don't know a parent who hasn't dropped the occasional F-bomb, seriously, and I demonstrated myself to my son when he was getting out of the car. He slammed the door in his friend's face, and I was just about to reprimand him about good manners and not slamming the car door in his friend's face when I came around the car and I put both feet into a fire ant mound.
Oh.
He learned every possible conjugation for the F word in that moment. He also learned correct usage, but he also learned, you know, all the possible variations. But the conversation that I had with him was basically like, you know the words, but you don't say those words in certain circumstances. I said, I never want to hear you say those words. If you're with your friends, okay, we don't say those words in school, and we don't say them in front of grandma.
That's absolutely true. If I had said them, my mother washed our mouths out with Octagon soap. If I start to say one now, I taste the soap. I already do. So some things work. Homework, how do you feel about homework?
I am absolutely opposed to homework.
So
and
am I.
The reason why is because it ends up being my work.
Yeah.
And I already went to school. I have been
You don't wanna
through
do it again?
elementary school and middle school and high school and college and graduate school. I've done that. I have my degrees. I don't want the extra
And it's
work.
really frustrating when you don't know the answers. You've
Well,
ruined
yeah,
your
okay,
day.
that's the answer that I don't want my son to know, but yes, absolutely.
The Science of Parenthood. It sounds like a great book. You can order it on Amazon, or you can go to thescienceofparenthood.com. Next, we're going to take a trip down memory lane, Rebecca's memory lane, and we'll tell you why in just a minute.